I think so.
All right, good afternoon. I will call to order the meeting of the Greenwood Stormwater Board. It's Wednesday, June 12th at 4 o'clock. May I have a roll call, please?
Yes, David Payne,
Here.
Leanne Lawler.
Here.
Is there a motion for approval of the minutes from our last regular meeting of May 8th?
So moved.
Second, is there any discussion about the minutes? None. All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's been approved. All right, old business.
If please, the board, I think if you don't mind, we could jump to new business.
Okay.
We actually have a few people here in the audience and online for our first item, Red Bud Public-Private Partnership.
Okay.
So, for the record, as Christopher Jones, Director of Stormwater Management, we did receive a public-private partnership application from Roger Alting at 375 Red Bud Place here in Greenwood. There we go. Okay. So what we have is this is an older subdivision without a retention pond or an HOA. But what we have is a conveyance system, which is the Pleasant Run Creek. Well, there is actually, and I think we've got, I provided the board with a plat of this area. We don't have a dedicated drainage utility easement like you would in a subdivision. This was more this is the river, the creeks and streams, and this belongs to you. So I think Roger is online, and I don't know if I think maybe one of his neighbors is also present. As you can see from the photos, there is a blockage. You almost see it also in an aerial photograph of the area. Blockage in the creek. We've had these before in other areas of the city. I provided the board with the application with supporting documentation. I also provided the board with the scoring criteria done by staff, and then also a recommendation. I can go ahead and make a recommendation, or if the board would like to speak with the applicant. He is online.
All right. Is there anything that applicant, is that Roger? Roger, are you online?
Yes, go ahead. What?
Anything you want to add to this?
Well, there's another property. I don't know if I put it on the application, 373 Red Bud Place. He is south of me. Mike Hall is north of me, and all three of us, when it floods all three owners.
Has this blockage been there for a while?
No, we've never had it. Well, we've had flooding, but not like this. With the trees the way they are now. Yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So Chris, what's your recommendation?
Yeah. So I've given this a scoring of a 4. However, on this, it's our recommendation that the applicant failed to answer several of the questions and scored 4 points, possible 10 upon review. However, staff would support an agreement with the stormwater for the removal of the obstructions within the creek, as the city does not retain the specific tools and equipment for cutting and removing such large diameter tree trunks. I will remind the board that we've also engaged in a PPP for downstream commons area for removal of obstructions in the creek, and the stormwater board paid for 100% of the costs. And I think the property owner has provided us with estimates for a tree company to do this removal, and I think the cost was, it should be in your packet, a total of $2,000 for the removal of this. So we would recommend engaging into a public-private partnership with Roger Oldsey for the removal of the obstruction of the creek in an amount not to exceed $2,000. Terms and conditions to be verified, outlined by the legal department, and authorize the stormwater superintendent to sign on the board's behalf.
I could modify that because you have recommended conditions. So I would recommend the motion to authorize entering into a public-private partnership with the homeowner of, did you say 375 Redbud Place?
That's correct.
For Pleasant Road Creek tree and debris obstruction removal project in an amount not to exceed $2,000. Terms and conditions to be determined by the legal department to specifically include the requirement of a pre-construction meeting with a stormwater inspector to identify specific trees being removed and an inspection upon completion of the work, and then to authorize the stormwater superintendent to sign the agreement on the board's behalf.
What is your motion?
Yes.
Yeah, let's-
Uh,
let's do a motion.
I motion to make that very well worded motion.
Okay, all right, I will second it. Okay, so now,
Um,
questions?
Roger, did you get one quote or are there other quotes? I thought I saw something in here for 3,000.
I didn't hear you.
Is there just one quote?
Yeah, I got another quote for 4,500.
It's 4,500, okay.
So 4,500 and one was 2,000.
Yes,
That's quite a range.
yes, it is, isn't it?
Is there just one tree there?
No, you can see on the applications, you see the trees that I have Xed off? There's 4 trees.
4 trees. Okay.
So
That
So
makes more
what's our-
sense.
what's
I
our-
just couldn't tell if I was looking at the same tree in different angles.
do we have access to be able to get back there?
Well,
This is a tree.
the company he engages with applies access
Okay,
to his property.
all right, yes.
I mean, yeah, in the water like that. All right.
All right, any
yeah,
other questions? All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so the motion passed. All right, good luck, Roger.
That'd be nice to see that cleaned up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll reach out to you, Roger.
All right,
Okay.
Okay.
all right, so back to old business, or do you have,
Yeah, we can go back to old business if you like.
okay,
So the first item was Pebble Creek Public-Private Partnership. We actually received an email from the applicant today or yesterday, I think it might have been yesterday, late afternoon, requesting a continuance. They are actually looking at modifying their application, so either we can continue this to another date at their request, reject the application that they currently have. I probably recommend just to continue until another date.
maybe they give you any kind of a timeline that they were? No,
Not really.
okay,
I don't recall. Did they say something specific date for July or?
Can we push one meeting and then drop it if it's?
well, this is asking if we can do an open-ended sort of, we continue this until they contact us again.
Or you could say, yeah, well, our motion is we remove this from the agenda and it will be placed back on when the applicant contacts you again with their modified application, the modifications.
That works. All right,
Have a
so
preference.
motion.
Oh, so moved.
I will second. All in favor of the, that's whatever we call this, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Till they contact us.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, parking lot extension, the bidding results was award. Okay, so this, remind the board, we sent this, parking lot out for bids, we received bids. And the amounts, you have in front of you, were from $992,000 to $946,000. Of our engineer's opinion of possible construction costs were more of $740,000 range. So we recommend to reject all bids for this project.
Okay. Is there a motion?
So moved.
I will second. All in favor of rejecting the two bids that we received, say aye.
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 Okay. We'll jump back into new business. We have an RFP for Park 800. Okay, so by board, we have RFP stands for request for proposals. This is some item that we sent out in May. Solicit proposals for the work that you see in the proposal. We did receive proposals late last week. I don't think we have provided those to the board until today for review. So if it pleases the board, I'd like to continue this until the July meeting. So the board and staff have perfect time to review.
I do have one suggestion.
And we have a suggestion from the department.
I do, because the board did not previously authorize the issuance of the RFPs. And so I would suggest that you have a motion to ratify the issuance of the May 30th, was that the date sent those, 2024? Issuance by the Stormwater Department Superintendent of request for proposals for survey and design improvement plans for the existing stormwater infrastructure in the Park 800 industrial subdivision.
So moved.
I will second. Any other discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 And then motion to continue it to July.
I motion to continue until July.
All right, second. No discussion on that. Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, last thing I have for new business, Timber Creek Drainage Swell. So on the screen, you can see there is the Stone Gate subdivision is on your left, Timber Creek subdivision is on your right. The Stone Gate subdivision, if the board recalls, or if one remembers, we replaced a pipe here in 2021. I think that was done by Eagle Valley.
Yeah, also.
So, okay, so we see where the green dot is on the subdivision on the left, at the top left-hand corner. So this is an area of pipe that we did not replace. So in order to, and we noticed in earlier this spring that we had additional sinkholes forming in the rear yards. So what we're trying to do is clean this area. Well, the pipe is full of water due to downstream conditions. So in order to eventually clean this pipe and or replace this pipe, we need to help the conveyance of this pipe. So in looking at this area, there's a piece of equipment that is needed. We found actually a local contractor who will help us with this piece of equipment of cleaning this this swell out to encourage the drainage of the pipe system that we need to clean. So the board has been, I provided the board with this estimate. It's $2,100 a day. We anticipate 10 days that will take to do this work. So I would recommend a motion to engage in a contract for stormwater infrastructure repair for the Timber Creek drainage swale. Terms and conditions to be outlined by the legal department and authorize the stormwater superintendent on the board's behalf. Let me add that it'd be for $2,100 per day, not to exceed 10 days.
With John Williams Contracting, Inc.
John, contracting.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
I will second. Okay, 10 days, it seems like an awful lot of time.
Not to exceed. The contractor suggested it's going to take 15 days. We're going to provide some additional help with labor.
What's there that's gonna take that much time? I mean,
There's a lot of honeysuckle.
okay,
I mean, it's 1,800 feet. That has not ever really been maintained.
So where in relation to this pipe is the swale?
This is the downstream. So if you look how you see the arrows on the screen, I could.
My eyes are
down.
Oh, okay, there's the swale.
So where the green dot is,
Hold on.
you can see a little black arrow. You follow that, and then it becomes an open ditch. Go to the board here. You see, it goes this way, then down. It opens up right about there. And then right about here is where it starts, the honeysuckle.
okay,
Their instructions. So then it goes down, see, all the way down to the creek, or actually, our next structure right here.
so we're cleaning from the green dot down to the structure.
We're cleaning really from this point down to the
Okay.
structure. So that's the 1,800 feet.
And so what's the green dot represent?
The area that's holding water.
I'm sorry.
The green dot, what does it represent?
That represents the start where the utility starts.
Okay,
And this section of pipe is where we have all the sinkholes,
uh-huh,
and we can't clean that pipe because we're looking at if we could line it instead of replace it,
okay.
so.
I mean,
Right
I
now,
guess what's
it's
the-
full of water, we wouldn't be able to line it.
Mhm.
What's the incentive to finish a day early if you're getting paid per day?
The inspector,
Future business opportunity.
there you go.
All right, so motion is for approval of this contract for the 10, not to exceed 10 days at $2,100 a day.
And he thinks it's gonna take 15 days, but you're gonna provide help.
Yep.
Right.
We're not gonna do more than 10.
All right,
Alright,
so we have a motion second. Any other questions?
no other questions.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Alright,
Aye. Pause for a moment till I
I
count.
think we need her. How does one get rid of honeysuckle? It's the bane of my existence.
So, what you're supposed to do is cut it at the base and then basically pour Monsanto on.
Is
Pour
there
Roundup
no
on it, because you don't need, because it comes
safer
back,
way?
it comes back.
Yeah.
There's,
Is there no safer way to get rid of it?
fire.
Fire. Fine, I'm not against that.
No, continue to
No,
to
it
cut
costs
it.
okay.
cut it at the base and then remove it from the roots. That's what we did in the nature center annex area.
Okay. Continue then. Okay. Thank the audience. Anybody in the audience that has anything you want to address the board? Sir, do you have something you want to bring to the board?
Yes.
Please step right up over here to the podium and state your name and your address and Tell us what.
Hi, my name is Paul Scudamore. I'm the owner of Park Relocation Property Management.
Okay,
I live out on the Val Vista Golf Course on the west side. And we've been fighting drainage problems for 4 years or better. It's 6 feet of water just rolls in there and sits there. There's no drainage. It just sits there, kills the grass, dries. And next time it rains, same thing again. There are the pipes that where it drains into are like 2 houses down from. I happen to live at 405. That's where this is at. At 2 houses down, there is the drain, and then it shoots across the street to the actual sewer drains over there. There is none past that. So the last 2 or 3 houses, there's no way to get the water out. It just sits there. And sometimes it gets 6 feet wide, 66 inches deep. And we need some restitution on that, on the problem.
okay.
There, even the golf course gets inundated as well. It's not as bad as it used to be, but they filled in the sand trap right up on the hill.
Mhm.
So that, I don't know how many years ago they did that, but they did. How much that affected the problem, I don't know. But the fact without a way to drain that water out across the street, get it in the sewers, it's just going to sit there. And it's breeding mosquitoes. It's, people getting, the neighbors, even the neighbors, there are no neighbors here with me, but the neighbors have the same situation.
Mhm.
2 houses down, when I say down, I'm saying south, there was a pool put in several years ago. And a complete fence that's necessary for that. And there is a pipe there that runs across over to the street and the water, but it still gets water back up from there. So from what I could tell from my knowledge of the situation, it looks like that it's the elevation, for one thing.
Mhm.
The water's not going the way it's supposed to go. And secondly, there's no way for that water to drain anywhere. It just goes there, sits there, kills the grass and bugs, everything comes up.
Okay.
How many, I'm sorry, how many properties is it affecting?
I'm sorry.
How many properties is it affecting? Like the water sitting on
Well,
your property?
here's the west side of the golf course. And all these houses down through here, but they've got like, on every third house, there is a drain that shoots across over to La Reforma, and then it goes to the sewer.
Mhm.
But when it gets down to, we're right here. When it gets down to here, these last 3 houses got a problem, because there's no pipes, no nothing going anywhere. So I don't know if you could put shoot one through these 2 houses over to La Reforma across here. Because there are sewer openings over there. You could just run one right across there.
Mhm.
And probably take care of the problem. But it's just not draining anywhere. And it's killing people's grass, breeding. I got a report the other day from one of the neighbors. The mosquitoes are biting their dogs. Haven't taken them to the vet. It's just it's not a pleasant situation.
Probably the best thing we can do for you at the moment would be to get your information or whatever, provide it to our director.
Sure.
And maybe have them go out and take a look and see if there's something that we can help with. We typically, private property, we're in public right of ways is where we deal with the stormwater, not necessarily on private property, but I don't know, we just have to start with your information, see where it can go from there.
Yeah, well, they're not only we're paying for the storm drain, but now also I see they're getting ready to assess from the Johnson County another $25 on top of that, which is not a part of the drainage.
Have you and your 2 neighbors that it's affecting, have you come together and like had anything to determine like what could fix the problem, or like, could there be grading done, or?
Well, my experience, like owning my own property management company, it needs to be elevated one way. It's just, usually, your drains will be elevated when they go to the drain. Here, you're getting nothing, it just blows in there, and it goes nowhere, it just sits there until it dries up. So, it's the elevation, plus the fact that there's no drain for the water to go.
Chris, did you have something else to say?
Oh, yeah, we've been out a few times. It does appear to be an elevation issue, an obstruction issue. And so we've mentioned to Mr. Swinner before, work with your neighbor, apply for PPP, we can help that way.
I mean, if the three of them were to put an application in together,
Yes.
they would need to
That would-
get a
yeah.
quote, right,
Right.
for the
Does
grading.
that mean
work
that we're
done.
gonna have to pay something for this?
I would just get a quote for the grading to fix the elevation. You wouldn't have to pay for a quote. I mean, I would get a couple, 3 quotes, I think is
That's what's recommended.
Okay.
And then you come to us and ask, just like the gentleman with a tree in the ditch. We work with you, but you have to band together with 2 property owners, or is it 3? I would say all 3 of you would get a better.
Complaints from the ones just past us, that if you send it down that way, that they're gonna sue all that, because he's got a sump pump, and that it goes right on out to the other street down there sometimes.
I would say the ones that there's water sitting on, and anybody that would be affected by the water draining better to their property, all of you come together and put in a request for a partnership. And we can review that. I mean, I think you have,
I can talk to
the golf course may be involved, I don't.
the golf
Okay.
course will do it.
If
I
they're
will
asking
talk,
for city.
I
city
talked to
money, they
Kern,
might-
I talked to, in fact, a gentleman was supposed to be here with me today, who's
Yeah.
gonna represent probably the course and some of it, because, we're
Yeah.
not getting anything done.
The best bet is to work together to come up with a solution and propose that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anybody else on Zoom or anything else from the audience? All right, hearing none, we will move on. Okay, reports, council, ready for us?
No, sir.
Okay, nothing from city engineer, I don't see. Greg?
Nothing for me.
Thank you. Billing? Okay. Chris, back to you.
All right. Okay, so we had 30.11 tons of debris, street sweeping, at the cost of 1306.77, 6.8 inches of precipitation, 67 degrees average temperature, 219 work orders initiated, 292 completed, 32 requests initiated, 35 completed, 118 BFP inspections. Education event, I think we had Hoosier Wiffle launch last month. 2109 number of locates, 4 stormwater management permits issued, 12 inspections, 38 ESC permits issued, 120 inspections, 121 hotspots cleared, 96 right-of-way inspections, miscellaneous jetting, Main Street, deferred trace. And one more thing, Colombo. April Drive will be open tonight.
All right. Is there something else on the agenda, speaking of April Drive? Maybe not. Yeah, I'll ask you later. I thought there was, but okay. All right, anything from the mayor? Okay. Commissioners, anything you have to say?
No.
All right. So I will entertain a motion for approval of our claim dockets.
So moved.
I will second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's been approved. All right, anything else that needs to come before the board tonight? Hearing none, we will be adjourned at 4:30. right?